For this quick doodle face, I chose a triangle inverted. I'm using a white Santorini stone, and because I like rainbows and Pride Month is coming up, I chose a rainbow motif for the stone. And because I have a set of Crayola colored pencils that I wanted to experiment with and to see if they'll work for rock painting, I broke them out and decided to use them. These are the colors that I'm going to be using, but you can use whatever you want. I'll also be using an Artistro white paint pen for the whites of the eyes and the mouth, and some Faber-Castell Pitt pens. I drew out the outline using a pencil and then erased with a kneaded eraser so that most of the pencil marks are gone, but there's enough left behind to where I can see what's going on. Now, I am by no means an expert or even all that proficient in using colored pencils. I mean, I used them as I was growing up, but that's pretty much the extent of it. So if you see me doing something that is wrong, by all means let me know in the comment section below so that I can refine my approach. I'm laying in the colors of the rainbow, starting at the top with yellow. I did this to give the base of the stone a yellow base so that when I go over it with the reds, it'll be easier and more opaque. After I've laid in the initial color layer, is go in a circular motion into the colors below and atop to get a more blended transition. Sorry about the jiggling of the camera as I do the blending, but I have my phone, which I use to film the videos, in an arm contraption that is attached to my art table. Normally, that's not a problem. However, with all this movement of the pencil blending, it's kind of jiggling the camera a little bit. But eventually, when I refine my filming setup, this jiggling will become minimal, if not altogether gone. If you're enjoying this video and learning something about rock painting, such as, yes, you can use Crayola colored pencils, subscribe for more rock painting tutorials. So, let's continue. You might be wondering why I'm using a white Santorini stone. When the art supply that you're using is transparent in nature, i.e. colored pencil or watercolor, you want to go with a white stone. That way the colors are more true and you don't have to fight against the background color. Now, since I've never used colored pencil to paint a rock, I don't know if you have a rock that has a white base coat on top of it will accept the colored pencil. Maybe that's for another video. But since I have some Santorini stones, I figured I'd use one of them for this little experiment. I'm adding some shadows to the corners of the eyes as well as to the top of the eyelids. I'm doing this because it gives it a more rounded appearance and more three-dimensional. I'm going in with a little bit of yellow to re-establish the yellow centers of the eyelids. And a bit more red going along the lid, upper lid, to define the shadow a bit more. I'm adding a little bit of orange to the shoes and some light blue for the eyes. I'm going in with the Artistro white for the eyes because even though the Santorini stone is white, I want the white of the eyes and the mouth to be more opaque. You may have to go over the white areas more than once, letting each layer dry thoroughly before going on to the next. I'm using a Faber-Castell Pitt pen to color in the black area, and then using a thicker point, I'm redefining the initial outline of the doodle. I do this to clean up the lines as well as to redefine everything. I'm using another Pitt pen, this one with a bit smaller nib, for details within the doodle itself. For another Pride-related video, check out my heart rainbow balloons. It's going to be popping up shortly. Now it's time to sign your new masterpiece and date it if you want. Celebrate each other, celebrate your inner creative voice, and remember to paint along the way.